And my brother was just phenomenal as a mentor. And unfortunately, he committed in 2012, and when he passed away, it was very detrimental to me. I thought I was going to lose everything, and I also my life was saved that same week. My wife caught me with a gun, and I was luckily saved by my wife, and I went through a huge spiritual thing after that that happened to me, and I call it a spiritual awakening. I started Abbots, which was a different name than the family name that we had with Chansey's in All Tribe, which was our original names that we had. And Abbots means Heavenly Father. So I was like trying to find a connection to a higher power, because I realized I was...
You wanted to give the business a little more purpose.
Yeah, purpose, and it's all about mission and purpose for me. So my mission and purpose is helping people and property recover. I have all the certifications to put a property together. When it comes to cleanup, when it comes to restoration, when it comes to construction, that's who I am.
Today we're joined by Travis Chancey, a dedicated leader at Abbotts Cleanup and Restoration. With a strong presence in Denver, Travis and his team specialize in helping both residential and commercial clients recover from fire, water, and mold damage. His commitment to rapid response and quality service has made Abbotts a trusted name in property restoration. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Travis, thanks for being here today, man.
Well, thank you for having me.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
You're a busy man. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Why don't you give us your elevator pitch of sort of what you guys do and what you offer?
Abbott's Fire and Flood we've been around since 1947.
Wow.
So we're a 4-generational
I was going to say that's before you were alive.
Yeah. My grandfather started it. It was in West Virginia.
Okay.
And back in the early 1980s, late 70s, we came out from West Virginia to Colorado.
Okay.
And my dad actually took the business out here.
Cool.
And then my dad taught my older brother, he was 10 years older than me, the business as well,
okay.
Which is, fire and flood cleanup and carpet
That's
cleaning.
That's almost another generation there.
Yeah, in reality, because it's 10 years difference in me. And then my brother really saw a specialized division for restoration. It wasn't just a carpet cleaning company.
Okay.
Our power pressure washing company, most people would just call that type of company to do the cleanup back in those days.
Sure.
But he's like, well, let's specialize in some restoration too. So my brother took it to the next level, and I was in college at the time, and also very interested in the business, but also wanted to be a teacher.
Okay.
So I was working with kids, special needs, at risk kids,
cool.
And teaching them ways to work with emotional intelligence, okay. And teaching them ways to take care of themselves when they have issues with their father beating them or alcoholic families.
That was here in Denver?
It was in Fort Collins.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So I have a huge background with psychology. So my background is with kids, like I said, adolescents, especially ones that are, have that blank stare to them, that the ones that have been really hurt physically.
Sure.
So it was really a special calling for me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to continue with that actually. And my dad kind of sucked me into the business. And I was running to the forest. I was like, get me out of this thing. I don't want to do this thing.
Yeah. And
decided to stay in it. And it was the best thing I ever did, cool. To be honest with you. And our, when I got into the company was after college, like I said, and my brother taught me the business for 15 years. Okay. So I have all the AR, AP background, all the admin stuff. I also worked on the truck for 5 years.
Okay.
I did all the truck stuff.
I was going to ask, that's got to be probably a critical experience to understand what you guys do to get things dirty and
and it was
doing the job.
My first job was in a crawl space with sewage. Yeah. So from the house itself, so obviously the people, were very happy that we were there cleaning it up. But I just didn't realize it was such a dirty job, and it was so disgusting. And later on in my life, changing diapers was even hard for me, because it's dealing with, sewage. And so it's a good business. And, I really, I wanted to learn every stage of what we do with a customer.
Yeah.
And my brother was just phenomenal as a mentor. And unfortunately, he committed in 2012. And when he passed away, it was very detrimental to me. I thought I was going to lose everything. And I also my life was saved that same week. My wife caught me with a gun. And I was luckily saved by my wife, and I went through a huge spiritual thing after that. That happened to me. I called it a spiritual awakening.
Okay.
And I started Abbots, which was a different name than the family name that we had with Chansey's in Aldry, which was our original names that we had. And Abbots means Heavenly Father. So I was like trying to find a connection to a higher power, because I realized I was.
You wanted to give the business a little more purpose.
Yeah, purpose, and it's all about mission and purpose for me. So my mission and purpose is helping people and property recover. So I not only I'm a psychologist. I like to help people on the psychology piece. That's my trade. But on the property side, I have all the certifications to put a property together. When it comes to cleanup, when it comes to restoration, when it comes to construction, that's who I am. So I've been doing that, like I said, forever. But the part that was missing in the business today is the new age, and the golden age that we're in, is an emotional intelligence that's not really around as much as it was, 20 years ago.
Okay.
Now, after 2012 and the Earth coming to a different, frequency, all the people on the planet are starting to feel this. One by one, it's all going to be done, I feel, by the end of the century, by probably even 2075. But I feel like we're all going to be on the same wavelength, which means love and light. Those are the two things I promote in my company, which are, teaching kids, that I did before. It's like teaching my employees the same type of stuff. So which is meditation, which is, pranayama, teaching people how to breathe, teaching people how to find the prescriptions inside them after hours that have nothing to do with alcohol, drugs, and all those type of things that a lot of people choose.
Yeah. Were those things that you struggled with? I
did. Yeah. I'm on sobriety for 18 years.
Oh, wow.
So I'm actually an alcoholic myself. And I've been practicing, my faith, which is, with God, since my brother passed away, very hardcore. So I'm very into reading books, ancient documents, mostly Buddhism, Taoism, the Bible, the I am faith, which is a Saint Germain deal. But I
have a soup.
I called
soup.
The soup is like, I call it a tool belt.
Okay.
So it's a tool belt that I use, and I try to explain it to all the management team at the company. It's basically when you feel sad and you feel down and a customer is beating you up or something like that, like trying to come back to the present moment and take a deep breath and not take it personal.
Yeah. Having tools in your tool belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just physical tools to get the job done, but
and since
emotional and spiritual tools to get through the day.
Yeah, you just said it. So literally, that's what I'm looking for in this. And we're in the golden age, and a new.
You've said that twice. I don't know what you mean by that.
It means like a frequency. So after 2012, it took a few years for everybody to start feeling.
What happened in 2000?
It's like it's in the ancient scripts of talking about a time in the future that will go from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius.
Okay.
Which we're in now for another thousands and thousands of years, but and that's a cycle, they call it. So it's very special to be in the cycle right now, and for us to be on this planet at this moment is very magical.
Okay.
So, and we're really kind of seeing a lot of negative things in the media and all these other transitions that are happening, but I feel it's going to be a very special time.
Okay.
And I think we're using this dirt that we have, this it feels like almost like poop right now, because it's really kind of negative out there.
Sure.
And it's just like we're going to use that to create the new age, which is going to be more about people and love and helping each other and collaborating instead of competing.
I hope you're right. That sounds great to me.
Yeah, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm an optimist, and I do have a lot of negative things that's happened to me, like with I also have a son that has got cerebral palsy. Okay. That's another hard thing to deal with.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Okay.
And he was born dead. And then he was survived after 7 minutes of CPR. They brought my son back to life, and it was very hard for me. And I was an alcoholic at that time, and
Okay.
I took all the myself. I took the blame myself. Like, but it wasn't my fault. It was some other things that happened at the
Okay.
time, and it would end up being a medical negligence case in court.
Oh, wow.
So it worked out for our family that we settled out of court for a substantial amount of money,
Okay.
and used that money for our son. And we also set up a foundation here just last month for him.
Okay.
And the foundation is a
Yeah, I
nonprofit.
saw you're doing a lot of nonprofit work. So I
Yeah.
do want to dive into that. I mean, maybe
Yeah.
we can talk about that right now.
Yeah, let's talk
Tell
about
me about your passion for giving back and how Abbots does that.
So our community outreach is for kids with special needs.
Okay.
So a lot of times when you have something in your own life that you're dealing with, you want to help those people.
Yeah.
And so I've been kind of reaching out, and we do a lot of toy drives. We do just checks that we call it Abbots Cares.
Okay.
It's a part of my company, that we give away during Christmas time.
Cool.
And so we just have checks that we give to charities and other kids that are helping other charities that are helping kids with special needs.
Okay.
But just recently, my wife started Maddox Apollo Foundation, which is a new charity, a 501c3, and it's very geared toward helping kids that are wanting to get immediate treatment. So there's this new bed that was developed in India that uses quantum healing to help the kids. So
Okay.
literally they go there for 30 days, and it's in New Delhi, and then they go to this machine and they stay in a hotel, but they stay in the machine for a couple hours a day. They have some really hard times because after they get out of the machine, they're nauseated, they have headaches, they have all these other issues, but it's basically the sickness being purged out of them.
Okay.
And after about 30 days of this treatment, the people go back home and they're seeing substantial changes in these kids. This is not approved by the FDA. It is not approved by anybody here because of the Western branch of our tree.
Sure.
It's not really accepted yet.
Sure.
But you've seen the futuristic movies like the one that Matt Damon was in, I forgot the name, Asylum, where
Okay.
these guys go into an off-planet deal where they go into a bed and then they go into the bed and it heals them, and it basically it takes a few seconds
Yeah.
to do. That's kind of the future we're going
I
into.
mean, we have like hyperbolic chambers and
Yeah.
similar things now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just recently approved it in Mexico, so they moved the bed. It cost about $50,000 to buy the bed,
Okay.
and so my goal is to use this foundation to buy beds.
Okay.
So if we can use the bed for my son to use them as a case study, so we're going to get the first money that we do get for the deal, and have my son do the first deal, and
Okay.
have my wife go down, to Mexico.
In Mexico.
In
Okay.
Mexico, and stay there for 30 days. Let's see how
Yeah.
it works. And then he could be a really good poster child
Sure.
for the foundation, and help try to get this into the United States as well.
Okay.
Because I'm just trying to
That's a
help
big
kids.
vision. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's kind of big, but I think the future of medicine is frequency,
Okay.
and it's definitely going to be on the quantum side, and I feel we're at the very beginning stages of that and understanding using AI,
Yeah.
AIG, and all that stuff to be able to get to this level of understanding, and not even using our brains to do it, just using AI.
Yeah, when you
to sort
started talking about sort of the golden age, I was wondering how much of it you were talking about with AI and sort
Yeah.
of how that is going to all kind of come to fruition and how we're going to use it. I feel like we're at the very begin. We're at the starting line today, and who knows what is going to come of it. But I'm excited. I listen to podcasts about AI and
Oh, do
think
you?
about it all
Okay.
the time.
Me too.
We use it as much as we can in our business, and
Yeah.
so. Yeah, I definitely think it. I feel like it got to go one of two ways, and I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic that we use it and we're able to. Humans are able to sort of just do more creative things and spend more of our time doing creative things and reconnecting with community and people, and
Yeah.
we're all the medial tasks are done by AI, and we're able to live a little more fuller lives. So,
Well, you said it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a science of knowing now. We know
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
It's not the science of believing like we did in the past.
Okay.
So I feel like it's using AI,
Cool.
we can get more information faster.
yeah,
And the internet was great, but this is like next level,
Yep.
like Ferrari stuff.
for
Yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm really interested and I think there's a tribal sense to it as well. So you have to, see one side of the equation being AI, but you also have to go tribal, and you're going to have to, connect with Mother Earth. You're going to have to go outside. You're going to
Yep.
have to be, hiking,
grass.
touch grass. You're going to have to learn all those ways
Mhm.
because that is the intelligence.
In some ways, I think it's going to allow us to get back to how we were supposed to be,
Yeah. That's what I'm saying too. And I feel like we weren't
I did not think this conversation was going to go in this direction.
That's what everybody says when they meet with me. But yeah, you're not the first one.
You got a lot of thoughts, Travis. I love it. That's really cool, man. No, I'm super into AI. I mean, I was just listening to a podcast last night, staying up, listening to this one, these, 4 sort of thought leaders talking about where AI is headed. So, it's something I think about all the time. It's something I want to implement in my business and even my next endeavor, whatever I'm doing. I want to, use AI to start my next business, basically. So anyways,
well, good luck.
This isn't about me. This is about you.
Well, on that side of it is like, I'm using it in my business. So I got chosen from a big developer in the nation, actually one of the biggest, and they chose my company to be a beta tester for AI. Cool. So I was really, really
how are you guys
honored
using it?
For all the water damage jobs. So if there's and we use it for voice text. So as we go into a job site, we use voice text, and it automatically populates reports. For us using photos that we also take. It memorizes where we do all our photos at, and everything, and is able to use psychrometry that we use in our business, which is the science of drying. And just apply it naturally using AI, and just using a temperature and RH, which is RH is relative humidity. Going in, and we're like meteorologists for properties, so we go in, it's pretty wet typically because there's water damage everywhere. So this beta testing we're doing is just using voice text instead of having to use your fingers to type everything in. You're just using voice text, and it just populates everything naturally for you. And that's going to be the first stage of everything, and then eventually just using it for pricing. So once you do your voice, it just goes straight into your, if we use Xactimate, so it would just go straight into all your Xactimate pricing.
Give me a quote.
Yeah, and it'll just be so instantaneous that it will blow people's minds. And I've did it, with no computers. So I did
paper
when I first.
Pen.
Yeah, we didn't have computers when I first started.
Wow.
Yeah, and I literally did everything on paper. Everybody still wants my company to like shut down and have no electricity, so they can see me come in and set up the the paper, the paper trail. So I'm really good at the paper trail and doing everything without computers. So I love that part of it, and it's just
understanding that process probably helps you, and then once all the new technologies, you can sort of cross-reference that and be like, is it following the right processes? It's like, okay, everything checks out.
Exactly. And SOPs are huge for me, and so we've been creating those, and just have an AI kind of go through everything and naturally, like a comb. And it's become like AI has been like a little baby like 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, I've never thought about feeding AI my SOPs. I should though.
Yeah, and it's just I've tried to just use it as a comb, and I have my AI comb like a fro, like an afro, and my AI comb is like stuck to my afro. So I use it all the time, so it's always stuck there. And I just pull it out and just comb it on everything.
I feel like every day I'm sort of thinking of new ways to use it in my business. So just like this today, I learned I have SOPs for certain things in our business that I want standardized. Even though we're a small team, I want everyone to sort of do the same things, and but there's probably better ways to do certain things. I should feed it to AI and
I'm learning.
ChatGPT.
I'm learning every day. I'm literally, that's my whole job for the rest of this, entire life of mine is just to be on the school, the planet, and just learn. And what I've done was have my son, my 21-year-old, works at the company, and he's the 4th generation, and I have 2 other sons, like I told you. But it's just like having that son there. He's telling me all these things that I need to hear. Because my customers in the future are going to be people that are younger, and it's going to be more thinking like him. So I'm asking questions, to him on what I should do and what pivots I need to make with marketing and things. He's a brilliant.
He's got a good pulse on the culture.
You think he's way smarter than me.
So let's talk about your business a little bit more. Let's dive into sort of nuts and bolts. How big of a team do you have right now?
About 40 people. So
how many trucks? How many vans?
About 10 trucks.
And
then we when it comes to restoration work, we do emergency work. So a lot of people call us after hours. So on weekends and 2:00 in the morning, there'll just be water flooding.
So you have teams that they just bring a van home and then
they come straight to the shop and grab everything, and then most of our teams are there within 45 minutes to an hour. So response time is the most important thing with our business. Is getting there quickly.
How do people find you?
They find me typically on business to business marketing. So a lot of people know me from just word of mouth. A lot of people know me through Google because I really do well on Google and YouTube, and I do a lot of videos. I control my social media myself, and I do all my own posting on all the platforms. And I just really feel like I need to have, as an owner, have my fingers into a little bit of everything right now, just to make sure everything is has my mission and purpose on it, has my values on it. Trust, compassion, stability, hope. Those are like my values, and I want those in everybody at the business.
Okay.
So I want all my customers to know that this is what we are.
Cool.
And it's just important, because people will have a fire or a flood at their house, or it is a disaster typically, and people are so upset.
That's happened to me. It's
What happened at your
disturbing.
house?
I redid the trim. After I put new flooring in and redid the trim, and with a nail hit a copper pipe, not knowing, and then after a couple days it leaked and just started shooting water all over, and it was on the main floor, and it just leaked down into our basement. And luckily my wife knew where the main shutoff was, so she was able to kill it before it was like too bad, but it was it was a lot of damage. So.
And was it easy to go through, or?
Yeah, I basically woke up the next day, ripped up the floor because I'd just done it, and cut out the wet spots.
Okay,
and
great.
so I got to it pretty quick, and then I had a plumber come and fix the pipe.
Okay.
Great. And I was able to, mitigate it really quick. So,
that's awesome.
But
Well, it sounds like you know what you're doing.
It was only because my wife shut it off within like 2 minutes probably of it going. If it had gone any longer, I would have probably had to call in some big guns like you for sure.
Yeah. A lot of times just using us.
Or if we hadn't been home,
It could have been everywhere.
Yeah.
So, we use the drying equipment. So if you, in that instance, a lot of people do the work themselves. Mm-hmm. So I try to promote having us come out, do a free inspection.
Yeah.
And then I use my moisture meters and infrared camera to see what you missed.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people miss things. And then, that time say, hey, just move this, and this. We'll just coach you through it. Mm-hmm. And then I'll rent you some equipment to dry everything out instead of going to Home Depot.
Yeah.
Because Home Depot is just like, they don't know anything about anything when it comes to the work. So it's always good to get the
They
free.
know where stuff is on the shelves. They don't know what it does.
I'll bring it to you. You'll deliver it to you, and then we'll show you how to set it up, and then we'll just come by and pick it up when it's dry. Cool. And so that's kind of the future of this stuff. I know people are using ChatGPT. They're trying to use the information at their hands to do the work themselves, to save money.
But mold is not something I would want to risk.
I know.
I've slept under mold one time, and I looked up. I woke up feeling terrible. I looked up, and there was mold in this air vent right above me, and I was sick like a dog for like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. And it takes 48 hours for mold to start to grow.
That's it?
Yep.
Wow.
So, and it becomes about visible within 7 days.
Okay.
So, and when you deal with mold, you're dealing with mycotoxins. So the toxin coming off, which is an off gas of the mold, is what gets you sick.
It was one of those sickest I've ever been.
Yeah. And it causes brain fog.
Yeah.
And it causes some, if you're younger between the ages of 0 and 6, it causes learning disabilities.
Wow.
There's these kids in Chicago that had a bunch of mold that they didn't know about in the place that they stayed. And all the kids got sick. They all had learning disabilities, and it just was very super.
Do they recover from that once the mold is gone?
No. When you're that young, it gets into certain parts of your brain that it just affects.
Yeah,
so it is important to do it right.
Your brain's developing so much in that time frame.
So we want to do things by the book at Abbots, and so we do things using the IICRC, which is an inspection agency that certifies my company. Okay. It certifies my techs and tells them how to do it by the book. And then when we go out to a job site, we just tell everybody to do it by the book.
Yeah.
And if they don't want to do it by the book, we just have them sign waivers and releases saying that, hey, this is what will happen if you don't do it. Sign here. And we still do it that way for them because they're the boss and they're the property owner. And we still like to get, the work. Obviously.
But they understand, they know.
They understand. And we keep everything very, in their face so they know that, hey, this is what the standard says. Yeah. And so everything is about education to me. We have Abbotts University at my company here too. So all my guys go through a career path.
Okay.
So it's not like you just show up and it's just a random
what does
job.
training look like when you onboard someone? How long are they trained for before they get out and start go out by themselves?
Immediately. We train them immediately. So
how long do they train for?
90 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So then if they don't make it, they don't make it, and they get let go.
Okay.
So our guys, they get on different trucks. So they have to not only work with one guy, they got to work with all the team.
Yeah.
And so I've been a quarterback on a football team for 12 years before I did this business, and a DJ and trying to run a frequency and run a business like this. You got to have everybody buy in on it.
Yeah.
And you can't just be the boss shaking your finger at everybody anymore. And that's not the age we live in. So we have to have the team be sold on it. So the team does all our hiring and explains to people, hey, this is the buy-in we need from you. These are the classes we need you to take. And if they're already, wide-eyed and look like, deer in headlights, this is probably not the job for you, because we really want people to work hard and, and be educated and help our customers.
But having that 90-day period probably is a really good natural filter. And then once they get to that 90 days, I imagine your retention is pretty good.
Yeah. And we've had guys with us that almost like military. So they'll come in for 4 years and they go somewhere else. Then they come back for 4 years. So we've been in business for a long time. So a lot of times I see that.
Okay.
So which is great.
They realize that the grass isn't greener on the other side.
Or they go somewhere, and they have to take them. And this is hard work.
Yeah.
The hardest work you'll ever do is this type of work because it's all blue collar, and people do the work. They're like, man, dude, Travis, I can't believe how you do that, man. It's how fast you are. I'm like, well, I've been doing it for about 50,000 jobs I've done in 30 years, myself. So, I mean, that's a lot, dude. That's like a doctor, working on patients. And each doctor, for me, it's not just dealing with the person. I got to deal with their property too.
Yeah.
The doctor just goes back home after they deal with the patient. I got to deal with the patient and the home at the same time.
Okay,
so it is a little bit different.
Put them both back, which goes back to sort of your value of what was your sort of tagline that you said about like restoring the property and the people?
Yeah, helping people and property recover.
Yeah.
That's our motto. If you see my front page of my website, it's all about psychology and the physical work itself.
When did you realize that it was more than just restoring the property?
Immediately.
Really?
Immediately.
When you were young?
Yeah. When I was 16 years old and I saw the people working for my family business.
Do you have any good stories? I feel like.
I have a story.
There's a story of like when you we can't just put these people's property back together. We're going to have to help these people to sort of realize and get them back on their feet.
Yeah. I mean, the churches used to do it back in the day. So when there was no restoration company, so people would go to their church. The church would have the tradespeople, and then the tradespeople would donate their time and put only the hard cost into that property. And then they would be paid eventually by that, people that suffered the loss through money or some type of barter or trade. So that was done for thousands of years that way. And it goes back into Leviticus and the Torah in the old Jewish Bible. It talks about the priest being the restorer. Yeah. And it's in the Bible. So, and it goes back that far. So, I mean, and for us to connect the restoration company to the old times is my job. So when I have people come in, I tell them the whole story about, what restoration's about, what the ecosystem's about, where we come from. And they're just like, dude, I had no idea. I thought we just go out and extract water and set up drying equipment. I'm like, no, dude, this is a bigger mission because you're going to have to deal with people. Because when I went out to a job site, this will be the example I have. I had a customer, literally became, physical and started throwing things at the wife, and actually became I had called cops. Wow. Instead of calling the cops, I got in the middle of it, and I had courage to get in the middle of this thing. And I was a kid too. I was only like 17 years old. And after my father, my dad heard about that, deal, and me helping that customer, it helped, because they're like, man, I didn't realize that, this was going to even be a thing. I thought you were just going to call the cops and leave. I'm like, no, man, I think we should kind of lean in sometimes and help these people. Yeah, you know? I mean, literally, she was saying something to him. It was this big lie about, she didn't even know what was going on. And I'm like, no, I was trying to stick up for him and say, hey, he didn't know. Yeah. And he's trying to lick his wounds over here and just trying to help the husband, and the husband just loved me up, dude. He's like, thank you, dude. He's just like, probably saved my marriage, for God's sake. But I saw that as a moment of clear, almost like a clearing, like a cloud's kind of cleared out of the way. Yeah. I'm like, dude, we're doing this wrong. Why don't we think about the people, when we do this work, why don't we, because it's always, we're such nerds in our business about the paperwork and doing all that stuff. And then we just kind of turn around and take off. I'm like, no, dude, there's more to this than what we're doing. And, an offering, I call it, Sure. If I'm going to offer my services, let's offer our services. And then,
let's take the extra few minutes and make sure that the people are okay.
Yeah. And
they just went through something traumatic, right?
Yeah.
Most of them. Yeah.
Most
depending on the damage and stuff. But.
Some of them are very small and you don't really have to do much.
Yeah.
It's just like, but then these huge ones that I deal with, I mean, I did hurricane cleanup. I did 22 high schools down in St. Bernard's Parish, down in Hurricane Katrina.
Yep.
My family's traveled around to 5 different hurricanes. I made a baby at a hurricane. I conceived a baby at a hurricane. So I mean, I
grew up in Southeast Texas, outside of Houston.
Yeah,
we've been hit by a bunch of hurricanes. So,
so
we had one tree fall on our house, and then it just dumped rain inside the house for a long time. And there's a lot of predatorial people that sort of pop up. And, I think I know. So people all of a sudden start businesses, restoration businesses.
That's
and
very
they don't
true.
have the experience that you do.
Yeah, and my job is to put my foot out there, and I work for an independent, not work for, I'm a part of a Facebook group, and it's about 10,000 people strong, and I've been there almost since the beginning. But it's for only independent contractors, so no franchises.
Okay.
So a lot of times these franchises go in and they just like see money, and they're like, oh, I'm going to go buy this franchise, and I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm like, if you're chasing the money, dude, get out of this industry, man.
Right.
Because I know it's a profitable industry, but it's gonna bite you.
Yeah, and they're giving you guys a bad name.
Yeah. So I'm all about helping people offline, and if people need anything when it comes to these. I don't care how much money you're making. Yeah. You could have just started yesterday. I will put my full faith and attention to you, no matter what. Because I literally, what I give is what I get. And that's how alcoholism works too. When I was in the Blue Book and dealing with, going into these groups and talking to people, the more I was able to help the alcoholic, the more I got in return. And I use that same type of mentality for everything I do. It changed me.
What are you seeing most? Like, what do you guys get called out for? I imagine it's water damage mostly. Is that the number one thing? Is there other things
we get 50-50 fire and flood. So,
okay.
Yeah, so a lot of fires. Yeah,
I would think there would be way more floods than fires.
No, yeah, we have. So we're on a lot of board up rotations with fire departments.
Okay.
So a lot of the marketing we've done in the past of with community outreach has made us look pretty good.
Okay.
So a lot of these other guys they like to work with us and so when we
they see you guys like giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And they care about their communities, obviously. If they're in the fire department. So,
that's right.
Like, hey, and their missions are similar lines.
Very similar. Yeah. And I'm going to be working with the firehouse subs, that place that, serves the food and stuff. I'm going to start working with them as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Just trying to get my name out there in creative ways. And then we also do asbestos abatement, which is a hazardous removal of some, it's in drywall, it's in floor tile, it's in roofing.
Okay.
So, a lot of people have that in their houses. Mm-hmm. And when you have damage, you got to get it removed.
Yeah.
So we are certified with the state to do asbestos abatement.
Okay.
We do drug labs cleanup. So like Breaking Bad stuff, that happened. I go in and I clean up. I come in with an astronaut and get everything cleaned out. I'm certified in meth cleanup.
Okay.
Methamphetamine. I work with a lot of the housing departments.
Okay.
A lot of government places, a lot of banks, a lot of schools. So it's just people, have this damage and they're like, hey, Travis, do you guys do the rebuild and put everything back? We're like, yes. So we're also a full service reconstruction company and remodel as well. So if somebody is like filing a claim for their insurance for this huge fire or flood they had, they don't have to go somewhere else to look for all the rebuild side of it.
Now, are you guys subbing a lot of that out?
On the subcontractor side, on the construction, yes.
Okay.
We do have some inside guys that do trade stuff, but most of it's subcontracted out by guys that are in my B&I group, business network. So I like to keep things, in a tight knit of people I'm really close to.
Yeah.
And
people can use you because you've done the networking. You know who's good, who's reliable, who's going to show up. And in that world, especially the construction world, anytime you're doing a remodel, like how many horror stories do we know?
Oh, I know.
Project gets torn out and never gets redone, or gets 80% done,
Well, franchises do that to you. So when you call a franchise, like Servpro or some Service Master or some of these other guys are out there, they'll just not do any of the rebuild. They'll leave you hanging. Yeah. And then you have to go to, the Google to try to find somebody. And that's like
if you don't know somebody, man, it's such a roll of the dice.
It is. You could have the best reviews online, but they could just totally not do good either. So
we were just trying to get some concrete poured, and it's a little bit different, but call and like set up people to come out. I had like 4 or 5 people that I called and they were going to come out and look. Only 2 showed up. You know what I mean? 2 out of 5. 3 people just didn't even show up.
Why do you think that is?
I have no idea. I mean, I think they're just so busy and they don't have enough people and they don't have good systems in place. They don't have good values. You know what I mean? Like if you're too busy to come up and give me a quote, then, or if you get burned by quotes, then charge a few dollars to come out and give a quote. I don't care. Like,
I've seen that. And a lot of it's apathy
Yeah.
after COVID. I think a lot of the business reality has changed. The first 2 years after COVID, things were kind of doing okay, and we're trying to. But then after the cost of things went way up,
Yeah.
a lot of the people are struggling in businesses right now because of the cost of consumables and the way to maintain, and even the cost of labor.
Yeah.
Has gone up. So I mean, I had to
Is that
restructure.
really hard to keep up with?
Oh my gosh! Yeah, I had 80 people at my company.
Oh, wow.
80. Yeah. So, and I was in Florida at one time a little bit, and I had to, seriously restructure my business because of the economy.
Yeah.
I didn't have the revenue coming in like I did before. And I had a lot of recent buyouts of big companies here locally by, just gargantuan companies that come in with a lot of asset managers here locally that own all the properties.
Okay.
So of course they're going to get all the work when they
they also own the property.
Yeah, so it's kind of that thing is where I'm struggling, to go through that restructuring process right now, and I think it's going to be. I see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
and it's going to be good for me. But I had to go through this kind of a trial of darkness.
Okay.
But it's been tough, and my family has seen me kind of struggle. Even with all the positivity and all the stuff I bring, and all the yoga I do and the meditation, I do that as medicine for myself. Because without it, I don't know if I would be here talking to you right now, to be honest with you. So
you found healthy vices.
Yeah. So I mean, I think everybody, and at least the men I know with their wives, they're struggling too, and they've been. A lot of the successful guys I know are still struggling. And they're talking, and they're licking their wounds and restructuring their businesses and doing things a little bit differently, trying to be more frugal.
Yeah. What have been the biggest variables that have the biggest hurdles?
I think having people come in with resumes that are supposedly bulletproof and they are duds.
Oh,
so the 80 people that I had at the company, there was a lot of people that were just those people that were just on paper great people, but then put them out into the field and not much there. So a lot of
so finding good workers.
Yeah, I don't think the best currency in this world is people.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with money.
Sure.
So we have to figure that out as a society. And I was not running the company at that time when all these people were here. I was kind of an owner looking in at the business.
Yeah.
Not an operator of the business, but now I am an operator. And I am made myself that, so to do that, you have to kind of, work hard yourself. And so for the last,
Let me ask you about that, because I think I see that too. And as someone who, you seem like you think about these things, is it that there are more people who are just apathetic? Is it the younger generation? Is it a hopelessness that they've sensed? I mean, maybe it's not one thing, but why do you think that is? Why do you think it is so hard to find people who are willing to do hard work?
A lot of people have lost their faith.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think.
And does that mean they lack a purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
So my goal, if I were to look at the overarching thing, would be at the ages of 0 to 6 that we work with kids to work on themselves internally.
Okay.
So I would teach them about reverse hypnosis, teach them about mission and purpose. By getting the reverse hypnosis, you're able to do past life regression with people, and you're able to get what their mission and purpose is out of them in a heartbeat, actually.
At that young of an age?
Yes. It's actually easier at that age.
Okay.
And then that way we'd be able to put them on a trajectory for health in their middle school age. Because the middle school is tough for kids, especially when you're a kid. I was a struggling guy because I didn't have much women in my life. So I was always trying to be the tough guy.
Okay.
And I was only supposed to be a tough guy, no matter what. I was a quarterback of the team. I was supposed to be, the stud. And I had a lot of emotions. So I was like the opposite of the tough guy.
Okay.
So I struggled. So I went into deep depression, in middle school and high school. So I used my depression for school. So I became a 4.0 student. Tried to be the best in school.
But you channeled it into
something.
Healthy.
Yeah. So I want to help that with kids in the future. I think that's what we're missing is that these guys that are adults that I'm talking to now, it goes back down to the roots of who they are and their stories of their mom and their dad and what happened at that time. And I can literally trace it back to that, to some points in their life where it could have gone this way or this way. And, I want to teach people to find the internal the solution instead of trying to look out here for the solution. And that's the future of the golden age. I keep saying that is going to be an internal feeling, of stoking that solution inside you, that prescription that's inside you. And sometimes it's just a couple words like sorry. Like that's a healing word.
Yeah.
Forgiveness. I mean, a lot of this faith stuff. People don't even know what it is. They don't go to church anymore. They don't practice any type of religious activity.
They don't have community.
They don't have community. They don't go out into Mother Nature, which is the number one God in my life is Mother Nature.
Yeah.
It's right there for the taking. It was given to us by God. So my great.
I mean, we're kind of lucky because our Mother Nature around us is a lot more prettier than a lot of other people. I grew up in Southeast Texas, so
a little bit different.
Mother Nature looks a little different down there. It's a little harsher, a little more humid, a little hotter, but not as pretty. But it's still all around us,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, that's
get out and experience it. I tell people it's like, you can solve a lot of your problems by just getting out and touching grass.
Yeah. And people think you're crazy 20 years ago if you said that.
Yeah.
But nowadays the frequency has changed, and people I don't get the snicker that I used to get before, and because people
sort of recognize it.
They recognize it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And,
well, that's how we were sort of designed. So our evolutionary biology, we were designed to be in small tribes outside,
Well, yeah. And that's how I see that in the future.
The more we can get back to that, we don't have to go all the way back to that.
No.
But the more you can intentionally sort of get back to that, I feel like the healthier you can be.
What you just said there is huge, because I definitely believe the same thing. Yeah. So it is a AI, AIG, all that stuff coming in the future, but we also have to see the other side of the tree, which is tribal. Yeah. Connecting to your Mother Earth, and being able to, combine the two.
Yeah.
We don't become like all these implants in our head and act like robots. Believe me, that's not what God wanted.
Right. That's the dystopian future of AI that I hope doesn't exist.
Well, I think it's up to us as, consumers to make those decisions for the people that are making these things. So
money talks, right?
Money talk. Yeah. So and if it was me, if I was blind and I needed some type of implant for me to see,
sure,
that's different.
Right.
Yeah. But if it's just to have some extra things to try to outdo other people and compete with the people around you, I don't think that's a cool thing. And I think it's more about collaboration with people.
Well, tell me about the future of Abbots. What do you what's down the road for you guys?
What I see with Abbots is robots. So we would get into the robot future.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of what that looks like is maybe next year, buying our first robot.
Okay.
And then being able to train it like a little baby, and teaching it the trade and just like anything, that way I was telling you before about Abbotts University.
Yeah.
Well, this is my little baby.
You will be on the cutting edge if you buy a robot next year.
Yeah.
I mean, people are going to have one of two reactions. They're like, that's awesome. I want to hire you and bring your robots in. Or they'd be like, absolutely never. I don't trust that.
There'll be a little bit of both. So what I'm going to do is a hybrid. So I'll have both opportunities for people who are like, hey, do you want to go this route or do you want to go this route?
Yeah.
So people will get to see it. So it's not like a forced thing to the customer.
Yeah.
It's a choice. And and then once they get into it, then it'll be a cool thing. But I was the first one with an infrared camera in Colorado back in 1999.
Okay.
And it cost me $50,000
Holy cow.
to get it. Yeah. My brother bought it for me. And it was $50,000 for a 19-year-old kid. And so I ended up starting two other restoration companies, or helping start two other restoration companies with it, because I was hired by two large general contractors to help them. It's just like a brainchild of them helping them,
implement that.
Yeah,
technology.
and also implement, because I was setting drying equipment for them on all these huge water losses, and they're like, Travis, come by, I got another one, and I would make money off the equipment, but they would do all the work themselves.
Yeah.
And so eventually they're like, Travis, we'll just go start, our own company, and can you what's the consulting fee for doing that? So I've set up probably a good, probably 7 or 8 restoration companies myself.
Okay.
That were not even my businesses.
course. Yeah.
So I do that because I am a giver. I've always been a giver,
Okay.
and I'm never.
Well, it sounds like that's kind of what
Yeah.
you're gifted at too.
Yeah, and I would rather, eventually, be out of Abbots, and looking down, helping Abbots from like an angel investor type of thing.
Okay.
And then
Spending a little more time on the nonprofit side too.
yeah, and then with Maddox Apollo Foundation with my wife Karina, because she knows all the famous people. She's a celebrity photographer, so she's like Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. She photographs them,
Okay.
and she's friends with a lot of the famous DJs around the world. And then some of these actors and actresses that are in Europe, and I get to travel with her. That's what I've been doing before. I was doing that with Abbots. I was having other people run the company for me, and I was traveling with my wife.
Okay.
And I was flying drones and doing music videos for people.
Nice.
So editing videos and being able to help her with Maxim magazine. She was a part of that magazine for a while as a photographer.
Cool.
And mostly women in bikinis.
Okay.
Yeah, but it was.
I thought that was like, I
Yeah.
think that's what that is.
But she's got out of that. She's like, yeah, that was a phase of her life to get into where she is now.
Okay.
And so she's into this new foundation. This is her whole life right now. She's 24 hours a day just doing this stuff.
Awesome.
And so all these famous people want to donate to this foundation. So I'm very blessed. And we're gonna we don't even have a way for them to donate right now. So if we're working on getting that set up,
Nice.
but she's just gonna have a waterfall of money just fall on her, and I know it will happen. Just because she is who she is, and she's like a mother, Mary in my life. Just a very special lady. She saved my life. My wife did. We've been married for 21 years and got 4 kids together, and literally I am who I am because of her. Yeah. So I mean, it's like I'm trying to get that nuclear family.
I can empathize with that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the nuclear family back.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like my overarching thing too. After Abbots.
I like that mission too.
Yeah. It's working with kids. Trying to get them to understand mission and purpose, trying to get them on their educational route, and then also working with people to understand marriage and why it's an important institution.
Yeah. That's
been kind of taken away from us in a lot of ways, and try to teach people that even 100 years from now, I feel like we're going to be in another world of peace and serenity that we've never even imagined, and it's all going to be circled around one thing. Family. And I really think that's going to be the new future of our new America is going to be like trying to lift up the family and trying to understand that, when people need to go home and spend time with their family, that it's actually a science behind that. And it really, there's things happening that you can't even put, it's a mystery. Sure. And I don't even know how to explain it, but it's a special thing. And
I agree with you.
Yeah.
So family is everything. I think, I tell my kids, like, even just when they're fighting amongst themselves, I'm like, guys, like, your friends are going to come and go, but like, you guys are going to be siblings and family and friends forever. You know what I mean? Like, can we just be a little more gracious, a little more generous, a little kinder to each other?
All right.
Because like your best friend that you won't even talk to her in 3 years. You won't even know, she won't even, exist in your memory hardly, but your sister will be here forever.
I know.
And, you'll be with them and you have the opportunity to be best friends with them forever.
Well said, man.
If you're just nice to each other.
Well,
just like, let's just be more gracious and kind and patient.
Grace.
So,
yeah. That's kind
try
of
to teach my kids sort of some of those values and just
it's hard. It's hard.
It is. They get it, but they get wrapped up in they get so focused on what they're doing right in the moment, and it's all that they can think about because they're kids. So I think it's our job to sort of recast a vision, to sort of recast a big picture and help them understand. And they won't get it for a long time, but if you say it enough, that's one day when their minds are a little more developed, it'll click, I think, hopefully. So
yeah, my kids, how old are your kids?
4, 7, and 9.
Okay. I had my 21-year-old and my 16-year-old see me go through, watch me go through a spiritual awakening, and back in like 2016, and my kids disown me.
Oh wow.
How's that feel? And
because of it.
Interesting. Yeah, and my wife.
It's not like you were doing awesome beforehand, right? I mean,
yeah, but I literally took all the software out of my head and just reloaded a new Travis Chancey.
New OS.
Yeah, it was crazy. And people were like, yeah, I lost friends. I lost my kids. I lost my wife. My wife was about to leave me. And then I literally, it came full circle. Now my wife's a instructor for yoga and teaches that stuff. So she was against it before. Now she's
sold them on your way.
Sold it. Yeah. And then Daniel, my son, my oldest, he's going to yoga almost every day. Cool. And my son, Junior, I haven't haven't sold it yet, but it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, but he's like, I literally, I sit in my room, meditate before I go to bed. My kids would walk by me. They're just like shaking their heads, like, oh, I just can't believe this guy. He's meditating, always taking care of himself. And I'm like, a mantra is, I'd be like humming and doing all these things. And I was just having fun.
Sure.
Having fun. I didn't even know this existed. And I literally use that, and then I'd put all my intention into a business plan. And then the next day I would try to vision and put it out there. And literally I just practice that over and over again. And it's been my
There's
company.
so much power in intentionality. You know what I mean? Just doing things, and not just for doing them, but with intention. And so. Yeah,
I went from a $6 million a year to a $10 million a year the next year after that 1 year there. And then went from a $10 million a year to 15 million the next year. This is all spiritual awakening time. Yeah. And then, 15 to 20 million the following year. So it was just like a
lot of it is just not about trying to make more money. It's just, when your focus isn't making more money, it's just doing better, for your employees and doing better for your clients and your customers. Like, the money comes.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really worry too much about the money. I just make sure that we're doing a good job, because I've always done that, and make sure our clients are happy, make sure the employees are happy, make sure everything is running as smooth as possible. And the money just, it'll come. If you're doing a good job and you're providing a genuine service and helping people, it'll come. Yeah,
and I just like, if the more you grasp it and hold it, the more you don't
you
have
lose
any
it.
You lose it.
I go through periods,
I know, me too.
I always talk about like a scarcity mindset. I feel like when you don't have it, you have this scarcity mindset and you're gripping it too tight. Yeah. And if you can, and money is like psychological to me. And so if I have a little bit of a cushion, then I don't grip it so tight, and I'm able to just reinvest in the business and reinvest in people and not focus so much on just making that next dollar.
No.
But instead actually helping people, helping businesses, and then the dollars will come. I'm not too worried about them.
I think we're pretty well aligned.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I think this is, I really enjoyed this conversation. Not where I thought it was going to go,
I know.
But I loved it. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. Cool. Thanks for having me on.
All right. Travis Chancey, everybody.
Thank you.